you can join us because I have the StreamYard and I'm streaming it as well. So if you can just join it, you stay on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp is clear, but so we can have maximum number of views. So Emmanuel, you join it too.
Oh, okay. I think my man was trying to complete it here. Let's see if that can get completed.
Just no. Somebody from your studio. Somebody from your studio came on earlier. Emmanuel, you just click on the link I send you and you join.
The same old link.
This link I just sent you. Somebody from Julius studio has just joined. Julius is on now.
Okay, so we are trying to set up. We're trying to set up.
You look good. You look good, Julius. I like that jacket and I like.
But when I you don't want to do the interview, man.
But to compliment you on your outfit, then I interview again. Julius, man, grumble man for nothing.
Okay, folks, let us go as we try to get Emmanuel on as well.
Yeah, Emmanuel.
We're trying to get Scream okay, so we can do all of that. That would be good. Why is my video? Okay, we're trying to settle with this. Okay. I can see you holding that phone there. Okay, let us take the song. Bear with us, folks. We are almost there. We're almost there.
I hear them say they want me go. I say somebody say they want me go. I say some pressure some pressure
I think we should be good. Let me give it a try and see if it is okay. Isaac, do we also have Emmanuel on now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Isaac.
Maybe he went to wear a shirt. Unless you them.
Okay. Because of the time people have patiently waiting for these interviews. I'm getting this feedback. I don't know. I think it's from the end. But bear with us, folks. We are using technology on this interview as well. All kinds of things we're doing. Maybe we'll off the WhatsApp call.
Julius, can you see me?
Okay. We also have Isaac there. So, Isaac and Emmanuel, welcome to the OK Conversation. Isaac, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. I don't know. I'm getting this feedback.
I don't hear a feedback. I heard a feedback before I went blank, but now it sounds like it's fine.
The same here. I'm not getting any feedback.
Okay. Okay, I know why. Isaac.
Yes.
And Emmanuel, but let's begin with Emmanuel. Emmanuel, what do you care to tell the public the background of writing this book, George Weah?
So, quick question before Amaya go. Can I turn off the WhatsApp?
Yeah, sure. That would be good.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, thank you. George Weah is an international icon. He is one of my football heroes. He's a motivation to generation of Liberians and people from loaded birth all over the world. So having a man like that come from Liberia, I've been writing books. Having met a person like that come from Liberia without his story being shared with the world, we just took it upon ourselves, me, with the writer in me. So I decided, this would have been a good project to embark on. And we started this project in 2017 with the hope of getting Mr. Weah involved and putting this story and bringing it to the world. Beside football and politics, George Weah's story should be a story of every Liberian that wants to do better. So that was the main motivation.
Okay. Sounds good. Now, how did you get Isaac involved?
Oh, my co-author. I mean, this man. He's a household name. He been close to the subject, and he been around forever. So it was just incumbent upon me to choose the right person that will provide some level of knowledge and firsthand connection, and to add more juice and credibility to the story.
Hmm.
So
Isaac, why?
you talking about research capabilities, the network of people and all of that, but that's fine.
No, Isaac, why did you think it was a good project to write George Weah, the dream, the legend, the rise to power, the journey of an enigmatic leader?
So most of what he said, in terms of the history of George Weah as a person, his birth, the level he rose from, to even be able to compete, locally in soccer, then moving on to the continental scene and then the international scene. The story there, some of the stuff he did as an individual, the lessons that could be learned, the national and the personal lessons that could be learned from, people who are interested in this story. And this is a Liberian story, it's an African story, it's a world story, because there are lessons there to be learned. There are also pitfalls that people can avoid, once they understand the individual, they understand the story. So I felt it was a wonderful story, and I've always, told Mane that he has underperformed towards his potential. This is somebody who has interacted with kings and queens and people at the highest level, presidents and other people. And I believe his story is wonderful. Even the negatives of the story can be, learnings for people who are out there.
Okay, now let me remain with you. The very first controversial point is: did he consent to both of you writing this book?
Obviously not. This is an unauthorized biography, but there's nothing restrict anybody from writing about anybody. If that was the case, nobody would write a story. If you can't write about people, there's, a lot of people will not even write, because it's people that make the stories.
In this case, it is not just about what someone does or their time in office. It is their life story, how they were born and how they grew up, and all of that. And conventionally, it is thought that you will get their consent.
Well, you can ask for it, but that doesn't mean that's the only requirement for you to do the book.
Did you ask for it?
Yes, in so many different ways. Directly, telephone call, sending a letter, a formal letter to apprise them and get interviews with him so he can understand. It fell on deaf ears.
Who were the letters addressed to?
George Emmanuel. You want me to put a copy? You want me to put a copy of the letter on the screen for you?
No. You could share it with me. That would be good.
And let me just jump in. Besides George, letter also went to Nathaniel McGill, Eugene Nangbe, and Pisota. I personally contacted other officials of government asking to see if they could help the president grant us permission for just to sit down and verify some of the facts we found during the research, during the interviews with his friends, family members, coaches, and other sources. But all of those attempts yielded nothing. And you know, being dismissive of people is sometimes just not right.
Okay, so you made contacts, but they were unanswered. So you chose to just go ahead and write a book.
Yes. I mean, that's how authors, writers do. So in the process, you write, you audit, then you rewrite in the writing process. So
can you see the letter?
It was, do you have my MTN number? Because I'm seeing it on your screen.
It should be on the screen. It should be on the screen.
Yeah. I'm seeing it on a copy of your screen there. So okay, now, but if they did not answer you, one would think that you were not forced to write about him. Maybe they didn't want you writing about him.
But
no. That's not his choice. As a public servant anywhere in the world, once you're now a private citizen, once you are being paid by the taxpayer, once you're a celebrity, you're out there, people paying to watch you, your life becomes an open book. Anybody can write about you. If you refuse to verify the facts, they go and publish. And, you know, you can take it to court. Anywhere in Liberia, over here, they will tell you, once you're a public servant, anyone has the right to write about you. So
no, we will definitely come to that court part. But I just needed to. So now that we know what the background is and the motivation and all of that, Isaac, do you care to tell us the processes involved when you were writing the book?
Yes, extensive research. Interviews, questionnaires, discussions with individual people, and magazines, videos. So it's not that there's not a lot of information out there about, George Weah. There's a lot of information. It's simply about how you put it together and taking the painstaking effort of going over it and verifying, cross-referencing, engaging different people, and being able to settle on what you want to focus on and what you want to write.
So you according to a description of the book on Amazon, you said you spoke to over 180 people. Were some of them very close people to him?
To me or to him?
I mean, to George Weah.
Yes, many were.
Okay. Now, also, did you at any point of the book place in information that you yourself knew about him that did not come from others? I mean, both of you now.
For me, no.
And that was the problem. Mr. Tukpah is a politician. He has to cross the line. As an academician, I write anything and everything. The story has to be told. You cannot withhold because you have other political ambition. You have to tell the story. And Mr. Tukpah walked a very fine line during the writing process. He didn't want information coming to, his relationship with George Weah to be put in a book, his personal knowledge. He withheld some things from me. And that, I got upset in that process. We only used a lot of the sources from the return questionnaires we got because we had to do comparative analysis and using the process of corroboration and elimination. So if 4 or 5 or 10 answer people from different sources give you the same answer, it means that the information is correct. So that's how we approach it.
So let me review with you, Prof. Clarke. There are 2 major controversial points thus far for some of us who have just read snippets.
And that's
Stuff
the problem right there, Julius. Snippets. Snippets is not a reflection of a book. People need to read the book. 2 words, 1 paragraph, you know, or 2 words, 1 sentence, 1 paragraph.
Sure, but you were in Liberia, Isaac. Why is it you didn't bring copies for people to buy? You have it online before we can even get it to Liberia.
It was not published at the time I was coming. It was not published when I came back in December.
And let me state to the public that I asked them for a soft copy, but according to the copyright law, it is not allowable. That is why they didn't send me a soft copy.
Julia, what's your frequency? People are asking if they can listen to this on the radio. What's your frequeny?
You've been in Liberia, and you know, Gavin and 99.5.
My man, you acting emotional. What's your frequency?
Why are you emotional? I said you know 99.5.
Right behind you. Just turn around, look behind you, and see it.
My man, I said 99.5. I'm telling you that.
Yes, but you're talking about Mr. Jet. You said the book hasn't been sent to you, or you don't have copy to it. But there are hundreds of thousands of Liberians that want to read the book. If the publisher can get a company, a business person to buy 50,000 copies, it would be in Liberia, because we don't have Amazon in Liberia. People are even buying the book from the States and selling it in Liberia for, X amount of money. So, if a business person can buy that would be fine. But Isaac was in Liberia when the book came out on the 17th. We're supposed to do a live 17th of January. So, but it was late to get him hard copy. That's why he didn't give you a copy.
Now, so let me just remain with you, Prof. Clarke. There are 2 major controversies thus far that we know. One, the language used in referencing, and please, for the sake of listeners, we're not repeating the language used in discussing the birth of now George Weah, and also the one relative to which many people refer to as an allegation about why he married.
Okay. Yet we cannot try to sugarcoat or camouflage a certain language. Myself, chapter 1 had nothing to do with George Weah's birth. His mother was. I'm a victim of statutory rape on McDonough Street growing up back in the 1980s. It was 1982. At the age of 13, I was raped by an elderly woman in the community because, she would give me 10 cents for recess and other things, even though I was getting something from my mom. So George Weah's mother, she got raped at 13 and got pregnant at 13 and had her first daughter, which was not George Weah. That was twisted by a knave to make it a trap for so many people that don't read with comprehension in Liberia. The second one was George Weah, that controversial one that people are seeing as so disgusting, was when George Weah was with friends. He always talks. He talks a lot of trash. That's just a typical George Weah. He was actually, if I was Clarke Weah, her man loves her, because in that piece, he told the people, he was telling his friend, he said, this woman didn't come to me because of money.
Was it?
Let me land, please. Let me land. He said, this woman, if you read the whole thing, chapter 13, which has become a black snake. He said, this woman didn't come to me because of money. I love her because she's smart, she's beautiful, she's educated, she's intelligent. She's a wind beneath my wing, and one of the most important thing is those attributes that he listed that has become a flaming subject here. In Liberia, which the man, he put his wife on a high pedestal. That's why he didn't marry a Liberian woman. If I was Clarke, the man takes me like that, or my wife takes me, put me in that category, I'll be like, baby, I love you. Even a Jamaican woman reached out to me. He's like, Professor Clarke, that book make us Jamaican feel beautiful because we don't hide our sexuality. We take care of our men. So what is the problem?
What the problem is the quality of the language used in referencing, and many people find it offensive.
Julius, that's
what do you think of that?
hypocrisy. That is hypocrisy to the core. The language people use every day to talk to each other, derogatory, negative, profanity, and you gonna look at 2 words, type vaginal and be offended? Yes. For all those offended, I say sorry for the offense, but the content is there. For people to be offended at that, I mean, you know, sometimes you wonder, what are our priorities? We got rapes going on consistently. The 13-year-old little girl, raped, sodomized, died. What was the outrage? Which one of those people marching up there were in the street demanding justice for that little girl? There's the situation, the guy at the embassy, his young 7-year-old daughter, okay, she was raped continuously by another ambassador staff, embassy staff, whose 15 and 16-year-old son were treating that little girl like a little animal or something. What was the outrage? Who said anything? The government is still hiding that case. They're not being transparent on it. They're not saying what they're doing. Kimia, Minister of Foreign Affairs, I'm even hearing today, his wife is being asked to leave the U.S. He's wanted for harassment or rape here. He ran away. Okay? So then we talk about the sex for grades, the sexual and gender-based violence that happens all the time in nearly every community. There's a man beating a woman or something going on every day. And people don't have no concern. They don't want to say something. But something written in a book that somebody himself said to people is something
that is also one that is being contested. There are many others close to him who say
they can contest it, whatever. That's fine. But where's the outrage for those other things? Forget about that. What is the outrage for the other thing? The murders, the unsolved murders, the disappearance of people. What are we doing?
Mr. Tukpah, you're going into our next book. I mean, you're a politician.
No,
I'm an academician.
Our next book is actually.
I mean, you don't. You know, let's remain on the subject.
If people find this offensive to women and Liberian women and all of that, and you, as I have said, you apologize for that and all of that, do you also apologize to the First Lady?
Mr. George, we need to be apologizing to his wife if she offended by what he said. I said I apologize to every person who got offended for the language used. But I'm not apologizing for including that information in the story in the book. No, I'm not.
So you stand by that information that it is true.
When Julia, I don't know how many times you want to say it. Yes. Well, but Julius.
No. One of the arguments in that.
Julius. Tanji Banto. You want me to play a Tanji Banto video for your people to hear?
Who is Tanji Banto?
Tanji Banto is one of the President. We are former girlfriends. Okay? She put Safwa on blast. They were going back and forth. And she explained what she said. The same way, George, I can tell you our business, the same way he tell me your business. And she explained it. She was very explicit. Where was the outrage? At the president for discussing women? Or at her for bringing it out then? Where's the outrage when Morba said, what is his name? Molu. When he talked about sex for jobs, how President Well sleeping with everybody to get a job. All the women. And depriving deserving citizens.
He let us a liquor talk. That was
nonsense. You go talk to Molwa now, he'll tell you, hey, you said no liquor talk. But what they say too, when people join, I thought they can tell the truth. So that the truth you are telling. You're not lying. So we got to face the fact that our society is very decadent. And we got to try to clean it up. And it affects everything. The fabric of our society is torn. We got to bring these issues up. If women cannot stand for the real issues, they cannot be honest in their advocacy, and they will make it selective. Even the people behind the pulpit pretending every day to say they're preaching, but they can't touch these issues. They just let it slide. Now, our society is going down, and we felt that part of this book aligns with the history of our country, even the war years. It brings a lot of things to bear. So we need change. And if people cannot talk about it, where are we going?
Prof. Clarke, there's a possibility if the first family does, choose to go after you people in a lawsuit. Are you prepared for that?
Totally prepared.
Of course.
They should be prepared for more things to come out.
Yeah, because I mean, we started a lawsuit against them for kidnapping Mr. Tukpah and forced imprisonment in the government of Liberia.
Anyway, we will. That is the final point that we are going to end up on. But
So we are
in
prepared.
terms of the lawsuit, if Madam Weah or Mr. Weah could sue you, are you prepared for that?
Oh yeah, in America, I mean, everybody writes about the president or public officials. They take them to court, the judges figure it out. So there is no law against writing about a public servant. Somebody, your taxpayer dollar is keeping them alive. Mrs. Weah was not the subject of this book. George Weah just brought his wife into the conversation. So the book has nothing to do with Mrs. Weah. He was just praising his wife, how he loves her, the reason he loves her, and it's being taken out of context. Liberians need to start reading with comprehension. Even educated people.
No, but how does it read with comprehension? They haven't even read it.
Analytical, skill, and even comprehension. I mean, that's just defeat the purpose of school. You give a Liberian a piece of paper, essay to compare and contrast, not to state the differences and the similarity and the dissimilarity. It's just a thought. But sometimes, I don't know, it's the educational system that needs to be revamped. They don't read with common comprehension. And that's the problem. People haven't read the book. They are passing out judgment. Wrong. Maxima. Maxima is wrong.
Because looking at the title, it means it has a whole lot of things. What are some of the good things that you wrote about Weah in that book, Prof. Clarke?
Okay, 98% of the content of that book, people are reading the book, they are so outraged. They say, even that what me and my co-author we differ. He was like, why are you praising this guy? Why are you kissing up to him? I said, the man is a hero. He's an African hero.
Julius, the man described the man, whatever. I don't choose some of that stuff. They be here when he described the guy. I said, oh, but you love him to the man or what? But honestly, he admires George Weah. But he just bringing the full picture of George Weah, because George Weah is not a perfect person. Nobody's perfect. We all got our flaws and stuff. So let's focus on the issues rather than the beautification and stuff. But he had to put his, positives on a little extra sauce on top of Weah, and that's fine.
No. I say you're a politician. I'm an academician. I'm a writer. So you're not going to make me to write something that I don't believe or I don't feel about George Weah. You can do all your apology. When I write something, I don't apologize for it. You can go and tell the people, because you might want to one day run for president or senator in Liberia, which I don't have.
No, he ran twice and failed massively.
Thank you, Julius. Thank you. Let me know. The Liberian people are not ready for people who really seek the interest and want to be their leaders. They're not. That's why they'll be consistently abused.
Oh,
there's nothing about it. There's no short.
No, it was just an aside. It was just an aside. And you know that it was just to tease you.
But Julius, tell me now, there are 310 pages in this book about, and people take 2 words to be the essence of the book. How limited is that?
Now, Isaac, people may think because of your falling out with George Weah and the CDC and all of that, so out of sour grapes, because you just said Emmanuel admired the president so much, and all of that, he put a whole lot of good stuff, and you had to change some, and all of that. Do you think your don't you think your personal biases interfere in this?
No, not at all. Because look, that government needs me more, Julius. They need me more than I need to work for government. I'm not gonna come to government and steal. That's not me. So it's not like I'm looking at it as a dream job. I can walk you around my house. I can take my other assets. Government job is not the glitter and gold for people like me who got some substance, have a profession, are competent people, and able to do things. No, people who came from nothing and want to be millionaires in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. You saw how this government came to power. Everybody trying to acquire property and stuff. Everybody trying to steal. That's not me. So not getting a government job is not an issue. I was in the CDC 2 years after we came to power. 2+ years. So, I mean, I don't understand the point about it being a follow or job. No, nothing there is about being about vindication and anything like that. That's just not in my nature. I'm sorry. Those who want to see it that way, they're entitled. You see, that's why I believe in democracy. People can think any way. People can say anything they want to say. That's their business. So there's something working with my shoe eater in Liberia when I was there. It was 4 years into the government, right? I didn't have a job, but it's not about jobs, even though most of our people make it about jobs. We got to change that mindset. That's why people are puppets for people. People are sycophants. People are hypocrites. And if we can't change that mindset, if people can start to try to work to empower themselves and to move our country in a different direction, we are stuck. That's why the dependency is so high. We won't depend on other countries. Individuals won't depend on people. Earn your keep. Try to do something. Try to improve yourself. That's why all the people I work with, I don't just give people something free. I try for them to validate a substantive reason why they get something. And that's the only way we can move our country forward, when we are self-empowered and we are able to do and earn for ourselves. And that's the opportunity that the CDC promised the people and has not been able to deliver.
Let me remain with you on the final point before I go back to Prof. Clarke. Where were you going on that night after you were dismissed, or you were asked to resign by Mr. Cummings? Where were you going, for which you were stopped by the immigration?
I was trying to get away from the city. I was trying to get away from the noise. You said know how loud everything was with regards to that situation. I believe the next day people were trying to protest or whatever because people's sensitivities were, it's just on the fingertip or on the forehead. And they don't even know what they're jumping up and getting excited or overly, aggressive or overly sensitive about. Most people don't even understand the context. They don't even understand the book. They haven't read it. They haven't even read the chapter. They haven't read the paragraph. They just read an excerpt. And that's what they ran with. So trying to get away from that, the next day, whole day, people were being all over me. My phone was going to be blowing up. I turned my phone off, So it was.
So where were you actually crossing over to the Sierra Leonean side?
No, I wasn't.
I mean,
they got me at the TNE checkpoint right there before I could get to where I was going.
Where, but and that's the question. Where were you going?
Well, I just told you. I was getting away. I was going to Besset town.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay,
as a free citizen, I can go anywhere in the country, right, Julius? Just tell your people so your people can understand. The people listening on your ears today.
It was reported that you were attempting to go to Sierra Leone.
That's why the government lied. They're attempting to go to Sierra Leone. The government lied again. The government did not get me at any border point. I was at the TNA checkpoint when they came. When the guy stopped me, I guess they had distributed my image, and he identified me, and he held me against my will. Because I'm a free citizen. I said, is there an arrest for me? No. Can I go? No.
They brought. At what time of the night was it?
About 11:30 maybe.
And weren't you afraid to travel at that time?
Why am I afraid? Anybody can tell you. I can go to the ghettos way in the night to talk to the people, to talk to our beginning. You think they can steal from me too? You think they can kill me? What is the fear? How many lives you got to live? One. What are you scared of your own people for?
Okay, we come back to Mr. Clarke. And please, people,
before you go, I just want to interject something quick about Mr. Va.
Well, let me read something here from Massa Washington, so some people can understand the thinking. The so-called outrage is based upon hypocrisy. George Weah was actually validating his wife at the expense of Liberian women. Liberian women are the ones who are being cruelly abused. President Weah needs to apologize to his wife for describing her sexually and for abusing Liberian women and putting us down. The Ava situation is a political hit and witch hunt, period. I'm offended that George Weah described Liberian women that way. The truth is my defense always. And she's right. She's right. George Weah is the one who, and it's not like these women don't know that's how he describes them, because he described Safwa to what her name? Tanji. He described
allegedly.
And they said it on air. No outrage. But now people would come and be pretentious and hypocritical and say they outrage. That's a joke.
Okay.
But for those, now, don't get me wrong, Julius. There are some people who are sensitive to language, who justifiably may say the word type vaginally.
No, Isaac, I said it that we're not. Hello.
Oh, okay.
We were very clear that we're not going to go there.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Then let's leave that. Sorry.
Okay. Good.
Okay. On that note, I mean, I'm disappointed in even the actions of some of the political leaders condemning a book they haven't read. Even the action that was taken against my co-author, Mr. Tukpah, by Alexander Cummings. In a society, like, maybe it's different, the optics were different, but he put my friend and brother, my big brother, in jeopardy by asking him to resign and removing that cloud of protection from over Abba. Abba is a politician. I'm not a politician. I think it was just without having read the full context of that whole paragraph, that whole chapter. You see, Mr. We are praising his wife in whatever way, you know, he has a poor vocabulary, but we try to clean it up a little. But if you clean it up too much, you misquote the person. So we would have been misquoted. And Ambassador Joseph Boakai making statement, the vice president also condemning the book, a book they haven't read. It's just a disappointment. Even Mr. Weah, Clarke Weah might be.
But I don't know. I don't know how long you've been in the U.S., Mr. Clarke. But cultural differences, what could be acceptable in one culture may not be acceptable in the other. Don't you think?
How is Liberia different from the United States? Tell me.
And we copy everything from them, from our flag, from our constitution, from our national anthem. Everything we are copycat. But when it's situational and to advantage some people, then our culture is so different. You know, it's sad. The hypocrisy reeks of everything in our society. And until we can be honest and talk about these things and try to make Liberia really Liberian, then we can talk. But otherwise than that, we are being pretentious.
Okay. Can we know some of those who were interviewed for this book before we take a few calls?
Those are just confidential. But we have, if you buy the book, you
buy the book, you will see the names in there.
The names are in there.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, the names are there.
And that means some of them were even quoted in the book.
No. We did not put quotation around people's statements.
We don't.
Why?
It's a compilation.
But sir, everywhere.
It seems like Julius is freezing.
I asked the book, and please stop calling my orange number. It is exactly the number I'm online with. Then nobody should call my orange number, please. Please don't call my orange number. Please don't call my orange number. So I was asking the question: if you did not have any second thought of why anybody would have done or said, why didn't you quote people so as to give it the believability that this person said this and never came from the authors?
No, but I mean, it could be the same thing. The person will say, "Oh, Nanami, or whatever." No, look, we take responsibility for the book. If the president wants us to go into discovery, let him go sue, so we can discover everything. We're gonna bring all the circumstantial, all the factual,
all the
evidence,
recordings, all the recordings we have, voice
Ah.
recording.
Those you interviewed, you recorded them.
We recorded some of them.
Okay.
We have emails
and then some of them have written statements as well.
Some people did not want to be on record. Some people did not want to be recorded. So we had to respect some people's wishes. Some people responded. The full 40 questions, they answered them. You want me to share some of the questions with you?
Sure, you should.
Should I share the question, Emmanuel?
No, don't share the question. That's academic privacy. Let's keep that privacy for now.
Okay, I guess those who do not want to be recorded may have said some of the negative things.
Not necessarily. Some people say good things and they didn't want to be recorded. Look, President Weah has multiple sides, and people got to understand that. You know, he's not a perfect person. Far from it. He has his negatives, but he also has his positives, and that's why people got to read the book and see how balanced they can be.
In fact, this other guy, he said, President, he said, George Weah can be your friend on Monday and your enemy on Tuesday. and that's a typical George Weah. You know, the man relishes in gossips and rumors.
Okay. Interesting. We know very soon we'll be able to lay our hands on that. But thanks so kindly, John. Let me take just 2 or 3 calls because time is already out. And the calls I'll take will only be from 0777700-995, 0555-995-995. Those are the only numbers I'll take calls on, just 3. And we call it a day right here. Welcome. Welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name?
My name is Prof, and I join you from Prof. Yes, Julius, you see, that's how it is. But that young man, he's making more. So we need to pull that man so he can bring more out. Because what he's seeing there is like he's acting ignorant to things. Voice recording is not permissible in court. So I don't know why you really want to show. And even your leader yesterday, he was saying a leader, when his young body, he has discussion with friends. But Julius, I don't think these things are not very normal in society. But want to come out and denigrate the leader. That means you need to be there with. He will go to court and he will produce all what he has.
Okay. Thanks so kindly for your call. Welcome. Let's hear you. What's the name? Yeah, go ahead. Thanks so kindly. We'll hold you right there. Let's take the final call on this one. Eric, welcome. I'm fine.
I'm driving within your frequency. I just want to throw way into the confused guess you have right now on your show. First of all, you can tell that there are a bunch of liars. The other one who call himself a professor. You're not professor, you're not an academician. Because if you wrote a book, you're so sincere about it, what will you keep secret about situations or things that you mentioned in your books? What did it function was made to take the president and give anything at his expense. And we're not going to dignify it. So you need.
Okay, thanks so kind of right there. The final one will be Deputy Minister Waka Fofana. Welcome.
How are you, Julius?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Well, I'm calling after just listening to about 15 minutes of the authors in the studio. They're tuning in very late. But evidently, the guys are having the reality day. I would have hoped that, Isaac had a lot to say. Would have had a lot to say when he was on the shows of Liberia. He didn't say much, so firstly it shows cowardice. Also, it's also evident from some of the explanations that he's making that he has a motive. One is vengeance. He wasn't included in George Weah's government. That is evident. Despite the fact that he said, Liberians have a lot of benefit from him. He went to 2 elections, they rejected him. So it's clear that, Liberians don't seem to know him as that Messiah as he's portraying himself to be. But there is also the possibility that, it seems as if he kept trying to explain exactly what is in the book, going to those graphic details. When you say to the audience that you already laid out the graphic rules, so it seems as if you had, sort of a liking for talking about the parts of way, and stuff like that, which is quite condescending and unfortunate.
And I, of course, I had to push him to apologize for that.
You had actually to stop. You would have expected that, not just any other women, any other woman, but he's talking about the first lady of the Republic of Nigeria. He's not remote.
Julius?
Expressing no apology, but just want to talk about, a son that he had, he couldn't remember from ESP. These are all ESP. These two have zero proximity to the president.
Okay.
The president always dealing with suspicion.
Thanks so kindly. And they admitted that they heard it from people, or they wrote it from people and not from the president himself. So all of the facts. Let me go back to them to just wrap up in 30 seconds.
Somebody's calling him, I'm sure.
Who? Julius?
On the local number.
Yeah.
Comments. Okay. Isaac, let me come back to you guys to wrap up. Listening to the calls, Georgie, from the remarks made under your book on Amazon. I've been reading all of those. People are not happy about what you did.
But that's the business. Julius, you think everybody happy about how this government is going? You think everybody happy about your show? No. People have the right. This is a democracy we operate under, to have difference of opinions. And you can't just bend to other people's opinions simply because they think otherwise or they think, differently. No. And please correct yourself. You didn't push me to apologize. You did not.
I told you, no, sir. I told you not to do that. And you said, okay, yeah, sorry. Didn't you?
Thank you. So
no, didn't you, Isaac?
My apology was in my letter of resignation to the entire.
No, I am saying when you attempted using certain descriptions on the show, and I had to bring the mic down and ask you to not to.
Okay, that's fine. But that's the issue. That's the 2 words that people got issue with. As if to say vagina is not in the dictionary.
Oh,
Isaac, I will just have to let you go. I'll just have to let you go, Isaac.
Julius, that's fine.
I mean decorum.
Yeah,
Isaac.
Your boss will not be here.
A word? How can you
Isaac?
a word?
Isaac.
No. That's censoring.
That
is censoring. That is censoring.
In 30 seconds, Prof.
Yes, I thank you for the opportunity to make some clarification. If the president has issue with the content because we reached him multiple times to come, give him the benefit to come and verify some of the facts we gathered during the writing of this book. If he has a problem, he can take us to court. We are also preparing our own lawsuit against the government of Liberia for kidnapping and forced imprisonment of Mr. Isaac Tukpah. That will be filed in U.S. court. And there's an impending sanction that coming, targeted sanction that coming for many of the officials in government. It's going to be announced by the U.S. Congress, the House of Representatives. They have passed resolution.
Okay, thanks so kindly, sir. Because of the time, our news has.
Okay. Oh, your man, he ran away.
No, I mean the man said they got that news. Maybe that news come out at 1 o'clock. So
yeah, so they ran away. You dealt with them.
The Pokemon make you. You got big mouth.
I say,
huh?
You fall with them.
Oh, my man. I'm start you.
Well, that's why you gotta know.
Spoon that. Spoon, yeah, did I say that?
That is spoon people I won't deal with. That one part I will cuss them as stupid. In person, I will cuss them. They were all in America, yeah?
Yes.
I will cuss them like they're stupid. That the other people
be careful because they will get in big trouble. That money that going through them from the government, instead of he got money, will find.
Oh, you tell me shut up. And you see the screenshot, I took one screenshot, then one guy said, Va, if you are in Liberia by this time, I will kill you personally. I'll find that person and let somebody beat him, you know.